Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ha, Rekakwadash Mama. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and the elders. Double honors to my elder as well, Ahurawan, Bayasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. And salutations to the fellow Akim, Awafim, and children that believe in truth and sincerity. It's your brother Athanyala back to another lesson. Yaharatazah is edifying. And this is a news article from a cryptocurrency website, all right, news website. All right, as I was looking up and just looking at articles in regards to Saudi Arabia, which is a part of the BRICS, and it produces a lot of the petrol, a lot of the oil, and I believe Gaddafi was a part of that region. All right, they pretty much ditched the dollar. And this was an article that I read. It's ultimately just trying to lure people into the blockchain system. All right. But by Saudi Arabia ditching the dollar, all right, this is ultimately going to be, it's going to take effects into, it's ultimately going to make America be the third world country that it is. All right. It's gradually taking those steps. All right. The Lord is gradually luring America, all right, down to judgment, all right, by de-dollarization, all right, and the continuing of, which is going to lead to, again, the pressure busting pipes, Revelations 13 and 15, the Seab. So it says, this is an article and it's titled, "No, Saudi Arabia isn't ditching the dollar for Ripple in its oil trades." And it says, there is a legend that in 1973, President Nixon and Secretary of State Henry Kissinger made a secret deal with Saudi Arabia to price oil exclusively in dollars, thus pegging the currency to oil and birthing the petrodollar. Well, you know, in 1971, you had the Nixon shock to where he took the dollar off of the gold standard. All right, so it wasn't no longer backed by gold, all right? According to the myth, the U.S. provides military protection for Saudi Arabia's oil fields in exchange for the kingdom's role in enforcing U.S. dollar hegemony over the world's most valuable commodity market, right? Petrol oil. That's the most valuable commodity market, all right? That's why America's all in other people's regions stealing their resources, all right, mainly oil. That's why they're in the Middle East. Supposedly, the country's sovereigns signed a 50-year petrodollar pact on June 6, 1974, which expired on around June 9, 2024. If that were true, this week would be one of the most historic weeks in the history of the U.S. dollar. It should be primed for an imminent crash, according to the theory, to the imminent benefit of emerging currencies, right? And I don't know if it's talking, kind of talking sarcastically, because this is what we know it's going to do pertaining to prophecy, all right? One of the scriptures I want to stop and get is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, all right, and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, all right, pertaining to the Lord's judgments, his prophecies, as well as his blessings, those who's having patience and hoping on his mercy, all right? But as far as his judgments and what he's getting ready to do on the earth, especially with Mystery Babylon, America, all right, the land of the north, and what is done throughout the four corners of the earth, and how he's going to pay back retribution upon it and upon the nation who ran it, all right, the nation of Edom, Esau, all right, the nation that's ultimately set up to go into perdition, all right. So the vision is yet for an appointed time. All right, we know that what the de-dollarization is being done ultimately to lead to the blockchain system. All right, and that's why you have articles like this, all right, with Ripple, all right, because it's all coined inside of what's Revelation 13 and 15, all right, the MOTB, or what these other fake Hebrew Israelite camps, these Christian churches, these false prophets do not teach, all right. The RFID CHIP is the mark of the beast, according to Revelations 13:15 on down. All right, I'm just trying to be selective with my words, but it's back in Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. All right, and that's Esau, Edom. All right. But the just shall live by his faith. All right, as well as 2/3 of our people. All right, who follow in his way. All right, because what the wicked consist of Esau, Edom, and these heathen nations as a whole. All right, but 2/3 of our people join the party. All right, but ultimately is about the Lord's first fruits and the elect, the 1/3 men, women, and children that he's going to save that have hope. All right, and that's going to have fear in him and the oncoming judgments that he's getting ready to bring upon the earth. All right, famine, plagues. All right, all the scourges that's being sent for amendment. All right. The missiles, ICBM missiles, Jacob's trouble ultimately, which we're in, but it's going to get to a peak, all right, to where it's going to be evident, all right, that we're in Jacob's trouble, all right, people hitting the streets of America and sedition, so on and so forth, all right. This is verse 5, Habakkuk 2 and 5, yet also because he transgressive by wine, right? He transgressive by his philosophies and his demonocracy that he stretched out throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, we just read about it as far as Nixon and Henry Kissinger having a pact with Saudi Arabia allegedly after the Nixon shock and him taking the dollar off of the gold standard. All right, this is Esau, Edom. This is what they do pertaining to greed. All right, they won't leave not one gleaning grape, but it's all for the setup and for the will of our Heavenly Father. All right, if it, allegedly. All right, but what he transgressive by wine, that demonocracy that he put out throughout the four corners of the earth. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Right. Again, we talk about how he takes up resources. He's in all these other nations' land with an embassy, with a military, claiming that he's there to protect and all that. He's just there to be nosy. He's there to be a leech, a Hoover. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. Right, so he enlarges his desire to a low condition because he sit on high. All right, he's a proud man. Pride cometh before destruction, and is as death, and could not be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. And that's why over here in his land, it's a melting pot. All right, because he go over to other people, countries and nations and steal their resources, all right, and claim that he got better. All right, he puffeth at him, again, the pride, the demonocracy that he puts out there throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, mainly the setup of the dollar, all right, fiat currency, and then taking real money, which is gold and silver, all right, from the fiat currency, from the promissory note. All right, that was a fraudulent act as a whole. This Habakkuk 2 and 6, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And that's what the other nations is saying. How long? And to him that laddeth himself with thick clay. All right, and we go into that term clay in Habakkuk 2 and 7. It goes into the Hebrew H5671.
Strong's H5671. Avteet.
Avteet. Weight of pledges. Heavy debts. All right, so he have heavy debts. All right, due to his fraudulent acts, due to his demonocracy, his wine. All right. Again, therefore the nations are mad, for drinking of that wine. So what the nation is saying, woe to him who increaseth that is not his, also the Lord. So the Lord is setting up a contender to this place, not just in Yahweh Shai, Michael, and the host of angels, but as far as Ezekiel 38, Russia, and these other heathen nations, these BRICS alliances that's coming together against this place. All right, so we're going to see the effects of a third world country soon. But it says, and it's just making mockery, I guess, or talking sarcastically, or talking proudly because they think that what they're going to get rich in blockchain, which a lot of the people think they're going to get rich in blockchain. But it's all to draw them down into that system of blockchain so they can take the CHIP. All right. But it says some articles go so far as to claim Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has informed the Saudi government that the country will no longer accept US dollars for oil transactions. Right. They can put a whole sanction on this place now. All right. And they don't need your military protection over there. And they don't want to give you no oil. They can really just kick you out. They can kick you out of there like Russia told you to leave Niger. Like Russia told you to leave Nigeria, I believe that was. Or Niger, Africa. But somewhere in West Africa. But it says, yes, there are people who actually believe that, with many posting that Saudi Arabia was somehow de-dollarizing as we speak. And they got that in bold caps. Moreover, believers in this ostensible expiry even claim that it would benefit Ripple's technology or central bank digital currencies, right? CBDCs. Indeed, members of the XRP army posted vague claims that the event would catalyze an agreement with the Saudi central bank to use Ripple for oil payments or a transnational BRICS stablecoin. So these other heathen nations might help again, because it's all about the world, the WEF, the World Economic Forum, and all these people from all different type of nations too. The oligarchs from different nations, again, they're the heathen. So they're all against the children of Israel pertaining to Psalms 83, all right, along with Esau, Edom, and Amalek. These other African nations, these BRICS nations, they're gonna lure and set up the blockchain system and lure the people into that blockchain system as well, because they can put sanctions on America, which forces America to put sanctions and draconian measures on the people because they broke. That's where you have a design famine, right? And just a famine by way of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, and just all hell breaking loose, man. This place being a land of confusion, and it's going to act out of being that, as it's going to be all chaos, which is what a land of confusion would and should portray when it comes to the people. All right. But again, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of those times. Isaiah 33:6, those who listening and learning and who having hope on his mercy, we have the understanding of how the pressure is being built to bust the pipes, how the New World Order is somewhat being set up, and how the people is being lured and drawn into digital currencies, CBDCs, blockchain. All right. And how the de-dollarization has to be done. All right, for us to enter into our rest, ultimately, for to bring in the kingdom. All right. One of the very last prophecies that have to come to pass. All right, and this Revelations chapter 13 and verse 15. Just to get it, just being we on that point. All right. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and the image is the system. That the image of the beast should both speak, right? He has power to give life unto that image, man. And he's doing that. And they're bringing the de-dollarization of America in doing so. All right. Again, the fake Jews over there in Europe, these Jesuits and so on and so forth, who play the ventriloquist when it comes to this whore being Babylon, the great mislead Babylon, America. They're designing this place to fall because it has ran its course. Is they have raped and robbed and murdered throughout the four corners of the earth, to where they want to fulfill their belly. They want to establish their new world order. But just like in Job, when he tries to fill his belly, he's go vomit it back up. All right, the Lord's go rain on him while he's eating, roughly paraphrasing. But it's Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And that's the pressure that's going to be coming upon all the earth. All right, the Lord's test. Verse 16, and he caused of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. So that's everybody, all right, whether you rich or poor, free or and bond, all right, small or great. So that's just dotting his I's and crossing his T's, pertaining to everybody on the planet Earth, man. Humankind, right? To where he's going to cause a mark, a charagma, a quai, an incision, a prick, a G5480.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
Right, a stamp. Like I was going back and forth with a Jake at a job one night, and he was talking about, it ain't gonna be no C-hip, it's gonna be a stamp, it's gonna be a mark. And I was trying to put it in perspective for him of how he's right, it's gonna be branded. All right, and I kind of equated it to the jump shots and how they're branded with brands J&J, P-Vise, and stuff like that. Moderni, you know, to where, okay, that's gonna be a J&J, you gonna be a J&J, or you a P. But that's how the elder had put it in perspective. I remember back in them times, and it rung off. All right, so just like that, the precursor was, all right, or the software, just as the hardware, man. The hardware is gonna be a stamp, just as such. Again, giving your spiritual allegiance to the system, to the image, to the beast. All right, to where the Lord is not going to be able to deal with you, pertaining to Revelation chapter 14, verse 9 and 10. And those who receive that, some of them, they're going to receive a grievous sore, pertaining to Revelation 16 and verse 2, I believe. All right. But again, the word charagma, from the Greek, a stamp, an imprinted mark, of a mark stamp on the forehead or the right hand, right? And you have these globalists, Elon Musk, who are setting up algorithms and creating the devices to do just such. All right, that's lining up with the system, in the NWO, the fourth industrial revolution. All right, to where you have something called Neuralink. So it says thing carved, sculptured, graven work. And that's a form of idolatry, and you ultimately go put it in your flesh. All right, pertaining to those who are not listening and learning, man. But those who are listening and learning, we hope to be saved and protected, all right, and not have to bow down, all right, to this thing. We're just reading a little bit more on the article. It says, crypto believe in Saudi Arabia's oil for dollars pack. Of course, the reality is that almost all oil trade has been and will be priced in U.S. dollars or dollar-settled U.S. Treasury equivalents for many years to come. This is not because the kingdom signed an ancient document, but simply because the U.S. dollar is the world's most liquid currency. There is a reason that a dominant 58% of disclosed foreign reserves in 2022 were U.S. dollars, dwarfing the euro's 21%, Japanese yen 6%, and China's 3%, according to the world's largest bank wire system, SWIFT. See, but that can drastically change, all right, because all those nations that they just named are in a pact, all right? They're against America. They're against the U.S. dollar. And by Saudi Arabia holding the commodity, the actual product, when it comes to the gross domestic product of who go make the money, Saudi Arabia is on their side. I remember our elder did a video on how Biden was over there and he edited a a damn gas can in his hand. Biden was over there begging because Saudi Arabia are a big producer of the product. So by them being of the product and having the product, joining the BRICS, more so on the BRICS alliance side, all right, and these other nations side, like China, who are a part of the BRICS nations, all right, they can completely put sanctions on America and completely change those numbers quickly, all right? So, again, the pride of Esau and the pride of these Americans thinking that America's go sit on high for a little bit longer. Again, the brother Zariyad did a lesson recently. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, pertaining to Psalms 49 and 11, right? That's not so. Lest there be any doubt, 84% of global trade finance market transactions measured by SWIFT, advice for payment, denominated in the U.S. dollar. Likewise, Saudi Arabia has been selling some oil for non-dollar assets for many years. It has sold a small amount of its oil for Chinese yuan, Russian rubles, gold, and a variety of other assets, right, as those same nations were dumping the dollar, trying to get the dollars back. Likewise, U.S. military protection is available. They don't care. They don't need it. They probably go call Russia to get you up out of there, like they told you to get out of Niger, provided it benefits U.S. foreign policy interests. The U.S. military serves as the pleasure of the U.S. commander-in-chief, as evidenced by the U.S. military disastrous occupation and withdrawal from Afghani oil fields, right, because they be over there stealing, and unmitigated disaster of epic proportions, according to the U.S. House Foreign Affairs Committee. U.S. diplomacy over foreign oil fields shifts quickly, right? Indeed, the public has never seen a signed 50-year petrodollar pact. The country's probably never signed one. Well, they never seen the effects of a 50-year petrodollar pact being broken and saying F it and being completely tossed to the wayside, to where now it's going to be economical effects as far as the nation, America, the West. So this chart right here of U.S. dollars, global currency and trade finance market is going to completely change, because again, the product, the hot commodity, the biggest market is petrol oil, and a big player of holding oil are countries like Saudi Arabia over there in the Middle East, which are all alliancing and packing together against the big bully of the earth who is extorting them for that very substance and using that substance to uplift their dollar. All right, their promissory note. All right, which they swear falsely on and buy. And that's why the Lord go put this place to rest, man, outside of what it done to the apple of his eye, to the children of Israel. All right, he laid a snare for this damn place. All right, even its money is what laddeth onto himself thick clay, meaning debt. So again, what pride goeth before destruction. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 18. I start at verse 17. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul, man. So we got to keep our way. We got to, especially once hearing and understanding this truth. All right. You want to stay upright. You want to depart from evil. Verse 18, and stay away from it. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall, man. Right. And that's ultimately what this place is filled with, pride. All right. And this is Pride Month just being another point. All right. And this was another will in the way of our Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, on what Saudi Arabia denouncing pretty much the dollar. All right. Which pretty much putting on forefront that they can put sanctions on this place. They can really not even want to sell to this place, man. You know, they can completely control Better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud, man. And that's what Esau did, man. To where the proud ultimately is going to come up against him and spoil him. All right, so it's ultimately going to be what? A lot of layoffs. All right. This is going to make things tighter in Babylon, in America. All right. Ultimately, bring it down to the third country that it is, man. You know, these nations go run its pockets. You know, the whore that is. All right, being her. It's Ecclesiastes 12:3. I start at verse 1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, right? And that evil day is approaching, man, fastly, to where that grace period is running out. All right, that hourglass is almost out of the sand, almost at the bottom. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, or the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. Right, the grinders go cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, man. So that's what's gonna happen into the streets of America, man. The grinders go cease, to where it's not gonna be no more work for Egypt. All right. The keepers of the house is go tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, man. It's gonna be time to be on alert. This country is gonna be at war, just how they had military and was in war, the war in Iraq, all right, so on and so forth, man. Going into these other countries and nations, stealing their resources, acting like it was an act of war. Those same things are coming back unto this place. And this place has never experienced that. All right. And the grinders cease because they are few, right? This system completely shutting down. And that's why they gave a precursor with the plan in it, all right, of 2020. Because once it shut down again, it's going to be for good. Because it's the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua to ultimately what? For the grinding to cease. Because there are few, it's not going to be too much places to go and get and gather resources in the smaller sense of an economy. Because America has ran its course and its resources, burned its bridges. So even in a lesser sense, it's going to be less jobs. It's going to be not enough for the people within this place. All right. Especially with the migrants and the millions of people coming over in droves, man. All right. And those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right. And this is not just talking about music or entertainers, even though they're being brought low and showing a form of straight up degeneracy. All right. It's more so of those who ate in the bed in this place, as far as the chiseling of the concrete, the noise of the buses going by, all right, the expressways, all right, all that is going to cease. It's going to be quiet, just like when it shut down around the Planinic. All right, the doors are going to be shut in the streets. It's not going to be too many resources to go up into and get help or seek help or to get daily bread. All right, because it's going to be a third world country. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 14. The Lord have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, right? Because it's prideful. And they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do, right? And that line up with Revelations 13 and 15 on down, pertaining to the sea hip. All right, small or great, rich and poor, free and bond. All right, there shall be any work for Egypt, because that's going to be the pressure that's going to bust pipes. All right. The head or tail, branch or rush may do. And head or tail could equivalent to what? The rich and poor, or the branch or rush. You get that rush. Agmon.
Strong's H100. Agmon. Agmon.
Bowing of the head. It says rush, bulrush, used as cord or line of twisted rushes or spun of rush fiber of the lowly, insignificant, and that's the definition you want pertaining to how it was used just now. B, of the lowly, insignificant. All right. So even the rich nor poor, or the branch or rush. All right. The insignificant. All right. So even this that may do. Verse 16, in that day shall Egypt be like unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it. All right. So it's judgment being set. All right. So what? A lot of layoffs. That's going to make things tighter. All right. That's going to bring the pressure amongst pipes. But again, we brought Revelations 13 and 15, and that's how it's go touch everyone, man. It's going to be no work for Egypt. You know. The head or tail, branch or rush may do. And I line up Revelations 13 and 15, whether rich, free and bond, rich or poor. Revelations 13 and 16, Salaki. I'm just going back in Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 4. And the door shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall raise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And when they shall be afraid of that which is high, right, the Lord's judgment, and fear shall be in the way, and the almond tree shall flourish, right, the almond tree representing the prophecies budding and sprouting and coming to the fruition as they're doing, all right. And the grasshopper shall be a burden, and desire shall fail, because man goeth to his lone home, and the mourners go about the streets, man, right? And that's what is it going to come down to, man? Everything that's going on in these other countries, all right, and that's been going on in these other countries as far as democracy and hitting the streets and insurrection, all right, war, is going to be here in the lands of the north. This is Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 3. For thus saith the Lord, ye have sold yourself for naught, and ye shall be redeemed without money. All right, now people who fall subject to this system and believe in this system, all right, they're going to be judged with this system, all right, because this system is getting ready to fall, all right, as it's fallen already. All right, and this money is not going to suffice you in the day of evil. All right, so you're going to be redeemed without money. All right, this place has laddered himself with thick clay. The money that this place has even played with was monopoly money. All right, again, Esau created an image, a system by way of the beast. All right, and his military might, his blessing, the sword, ultimately to establish a promissory note. All right, monopoly money. All right, fiat currency to go in circulation for people to run a rat race and to get caught up in an illusion while the Lord is bringing judgment, all right, and keeping the people's minds that he don't want in that illusion, all right. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 13. Behold, it is not of the Lord of hosts that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for vanity, for very vanity, right, because this place is vanity, all right. Everything you do up under the sun, all the work up under the sun that man do is vanity, is vain. But Jake boast about it. You know, they'll kill you for it. Eve go buck up against you and disrupt authority and be Miriam towards the men in her family, whether it's her brother, her husband, or her man, about it. And it's all a lie. It's all an illusion. All right? It's all accumulating to judgment and depth that this devil has created throughout the four corners of the earth, ultimately with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Again, he laddered himself with thick clay. And that's twofold, physically with his fake money and spiritually with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. All right? So this place is ultimately going to be done away with, man. All right? And you go see the effects of it, and that pressure is going to bust pipes. It's going to lead to what? The sedition among men. 2nd Ezra 15. All right? 16. Chapter 15, chapter 16. It's a paragraph. Back at the paragraph. Back in the article. But this is a paragraph I wanted to read. It said, for the past decade, the kingdom has run a small fiscal deficit every year, and experts to continue deficit spending for another 5 years, right? So they've been trimming and cutting to prepare and set up what they're doing, all right? It spends lavishly on real estate, including planned megalopolises like Neom, a linear city that initially boasts a price tag exceeding $1 trillion. The kingdom's deficit this year will be approximately 2.8 of GDP. For context, the U.S. ran a 6.3% deficit to its larger GDP last year. In short, it has plenty of fiscal flexibility to make decisions about its oil counterparties. So they don't need America to buy in, all right? And they got a city of exceeding $1 trillion, but that's still no money compared to the money that America's in debt with, all right? And that America still spend as they just print, and spend. They got people who bounce a basketball and throw a ball making millions of dollars over here. So this place is straight folly, all right? But these countries over there they were third world countries to cut back and draw back deficit, ultimately to play in the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah as he controls the hearts of these kings, man, these rulers, these oligarchs around the four corners of the earth, to do his will, all right, and ultimately be set up and to be in pact with Russia, all right, Ezekiel 38, and come against this place, man, make this place the third world country that it is, all right. So there's no more work for Egypt. Saudi Arabia denouncing the dollar and the effects of it, all right. And we hope that this year, 2024, pertaining to the Apostle Tahar, as he deemed it, the year of Jacob's trouble. All right. So this could drastically affect the economy here in the West. Shalom, Habatah, and DTA to the next one.